Marketing Director, and I'm here with Madison Stevens, Project Engineer, and Olivia Phirman, Construction Co-op. And we're going to talk today about their experiences thus far in the construction industry and the outlook for women in the industry going forward. I've got some questions for each of you, and we'll start with Madison. Madison, what have you learned during your time as a project engineer?
As a project engineer, time management is super important, as well as owner relationships. The balance between the two really helps me excel at my job.
Okay. And you started as a construction co-op like Olivia is now. Can you talk a little bit about your expanding role from a construction co-op to the project engineer role you're in now?
Yeah, my transition into being a project engineer honestly isn't all that different from being a construction co-op. I have more responsibility now, and I'm able to build my own schedule a little more efficiently. But other than that, I'm basically doing the same role, which is a nice, easy transition.
Great, thank you. Olivia, now you're kind of midway through your co-op program now. Now, what led to your decision to look at the construction industry as a possible career?
I've always loved designing projects, but the desk side of design wasn't necessarily for me. So when I found project management, it's the perfect balance between being part of a team and also excelling individually. So
I agree.
Great. Now, thinking a little bit down the road for you, what areas of construction would you ultimately like to work in?
yeah, my goal is to be a project manager and work on renovation projects.
Great. And sticking with Olivia for one more question here, what are you interested, thinking about the on-site versus a classroom setting, what have you learned being a co-op that you wouldn't get in the classroom setting?
Yeah, so in the classroom it does a good job of teaching you the basic knowledge that you need to be in the construction industry, but there's nothing like being hands-on and learning as a co-op. And throughout my co-op term so far, I've learned communication skills, I have improved some of my problem-solving skills, and also the relationship between us and our clients and subcontractors. So.
Great. Now, Madison, back to you. Now, you've got some experience in the industry. Thinking about that experience and as you've kind of grown up, what are some of the challenges you or some of your peers have faced as women in the industry?
Yeah, I think the two biggest challenges would just be respect. Overall, we're young, but we're women, and those are two very big problems in today's culture, society, and careers. But also, the representation of young women or women in general in the construction industry is just few and far between. So I wish that we had more representation, but respect also didn't have to be fought for as hard.
Yeah, okay. Now, sticking with Madison, in general, what are some ways companies like Phirman Company and others in the industry can better support women in their career progression in the construction industry?
I think that we don't necessarily need specialized support. I think there's a difference between support and encouragement. Here at Phirman Company, I feel very encouraged to do a good job and to work well. And I honestly think that's all I need to do my job well. I don't necessarily need someone to come alongside me and, encourage or support me to do better. I can do that all on my own. So just generalized inclusion, I think, is the key.
Right, okay. Now, Olivia, kind of similar question, but asked from your perspective. Now, how would you suggest or recommend companies, again, like the Phirman Company or others like us, in the industry with the goal of recruiting women, how would you suggest they approach that objective?
I think recruiting starts at a very young age instead of at the college level. I think that we should maybe go to schools and talk to little kids and explain to them what the construction industry is all about and what we actually do, and that it can be a good career and it can be rewarding and fun too.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Great. Now, I got two more questions, and they're for each of you, so you can answer in any way you'd like. Thinking about maybe past versus the future, looking at the two different sides there. First question is, what advice would you give a 13-year-old girl who wants to work in the construction industry, what advice would you give her?
Yeah, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I think that I would tell a 13-year-old girl, if you see any future or potential working in the construction industry, just try it. There's no harm, and in fact, there's more value in figuring out, once you try it, if you don't want to do it, but at least you did try it and you know that it's not for you, rather than wondering what would happen if you did. So I think it can be a really good career path, and I just want girls to know that you can do it and it can be a great opportunity for you.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'd really like to 13-year-old girls, or just little girls in general, to know that there's more than 4 career options when it comes to being a working mom or a wife, and all of those things come with time and just knowing yourself and learning yourself. I wish that somebody had told me that, you know, to be successful in my career, I basically just needed to love people and to serve people. I never had to sell them anything or to encourage them to do something. Caring about people is just beneficial all the way around. So I just would want me as a little girl just to know that she's capable of anything.
Great answers. And now last question. Now we looked at in the past, you know, what advice you give a 13-year-old, but thinking about 20 years from now, how would you hope, or how do you hope the role of women in the construction industry has grown, has changed? What are you looking for there?
Yeah. I would say in 20 years, I want to be the representation that is lacking for us now. I think that it's needed, and it needs to be there to encourage other girls to do it and that they can do it. And I just hope that I can be that representation that's needed.
Yeah. I hope that in 20 years from now that women in male-dominated fields is a common occurrence. You know, that we're not so few and far between. Like Olivia said, that the representation is there, and that we get to grow up with our little girls one day to be, you know, encourage them to be outside of the box. You know, there's more than, like I said, 4 careers to choose from. You can be anything you want to be. Anything a boy can do, you can do. So
That's definitely great advice. Now, before we kind of wrap up here, is there anything else you'd like to add?
yeah, I just would like to say that, you know, here at Phirman Company, we're super excited to celebrate Women in Construction Week.
Yeah.
We're super excited for the things to come and how to see how the industry changes for us over time. So we're excited to see that growth and change.
Great. All right. Well, thank you both for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for
joining
having us.
me,
Yeah.
and appreciate your time. And from all of us at the Phirman Company, have a great day. Thank you.